Well, good evening and welcome to this Facebook Live broadcast from BBC Wales Sport. My name is David Pritchard and I'm joined today by Elinor Barker, Olympic gold medalist in the team pursuit, of course, in Rio. Now, we'll be taking your questions for the next 15 minutes or so before Elinor has to hot step it to Radio Wales Sport. So we'll welcome as many questions as you like. And I guess, Elinor, we'll start with, are you back down to earth after Rio?
Yes and no. Yeah, when I do things like this, it's quite exciting, and it's not my usual kind of lifestyle. But after this, I'll go back to my parents' house and have a dinner, and it'll all be very normal. And it's like nothing ever happened. So yeah, yes and no, really.
Does that normality help because you're wearing that bit of bling, the Olympic gold medal everywhere you go? Does that normality help?
Yeah, it really helps. Yeah, obviously they were over the moon for me, and they were in Rio as well, which was really, really special. But after a day or so, it's just back to normal. I think my dad gets the mick taken out of him at work now for saying that he's still going to make me do the dishes. So everything's very normal and they've not treated me any differently.
And if you can take us back to that night in Rio when you did win gold, can you remember the emotions when you did finally clinch victory?
Yeah, it was incredible. It's one of those things, obviously, I knew that it could happen because we were going to the Olympics, but I sort of never thought that it would happen. I'd never really envisaged life after any kind of result. It was very, very surreal, and it was really, really special. And as I said, my family were there, my boyfriend was there. It was all very emotional. They're in the back of, everybody seemed to congregate where my family were, which they loved because they are on all the newspapers and in all the TV shows and everything. It was very special.
And we look back now to where you are now, your newfound status as an Olympic hero now, and you've been back to your old club, mainly Flyers, and you were there as part of BBC's Unsung Hero Award. Can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
So Unsung Hero is all about volunteers and the people that give up their own time just to make sport happen for other people. So when I was younger, I relied on a lot of volunteers and still do now, even in very high-level sport. A lot of it is based around volunteers. Think about the Olympics, the volunteer programme there is huge. So it's just about being able to give a little bit back. And I got to nominate my first coach who did a lot of volunteering. He coached maybe 4 or 5 times a week, but it became a 24-hour job because anybody could go to his house any time of day or night and say, I've got a problem with this, or my bike's broken in this way and the bike shop's not open, or what do you think about this piece of equipment that I want to buy? And he was just always very enthusiastic and always very ready to help.
And we'll just have a look at the first few questions coming in there. I guess on the importance of Unsung Heroes, you've seen it from grassroots to the very top. Who else were the big influences on your career?
I currently ride for a team called Matrix Fitness, and that's completely run by volunteers. So people who just love the sport so much that they give up so much time and so much energy just to be a part of it and just to try and make other people's dreams come true, which is incredibly special. So yeah, thanks guys.
I guess you're part of that team now. We're getting a few congratulations messages from Mohsin Ehsan, and Bruce Andrews got a question. How strict is your diet and nutrition?
It varies a little bit because I'm on the track. Keeping your weight down isn't so important, and actually it's very personal, but I find the times that my weight's been at the lowest, and you'd have thought that would mean that I'd be going very well, I've had no energy, I've been getting ill very quickly, and it's just not the right thing for me. So I've got a weight bracket which I need to stay within, which is fairly high for my size because of the muscle that I've been trying to build, trying to put on for the power. So it's strict in terms of what I need to get in. So I need to get the right amount of protein, the carbs and the vitamins and everything I need to fuel my body, rather than being strict in terms of what I can't have. So it works that way around instead.
And then we hear about the Olympic Village and the amazing food hall they have there. Did you afford yourself a bit of a blowout after winning gold?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Yeah, the pizza and the brownies were very good. Ended up having a little bit of a blowout beforehand just to get some calories in because the food wasn't great. Everything kind of tasted the same or not so good. And it got to the point where I thought I just need to get some calories in. So I was having sachets of Nutella and bread rolls for lunch a couple of days in a row just to try and get some energy in before the race.
Great, and the questions keep coming in, as do the congratulations. When you look back at Rio, you mentioned that the food was perhaps not what you would have expected. Any home comforts in particular you missed?
I really wanted some pizza. The pizza in Brazil hasn't got the tomato-based layer in the middle. And it's amazing how much of a difference that makes. It basically, yeah, it's the difference between cheese on toast and pizza, isn't it? So it doesn't feel as indulgent without that layer. So that was the first thing I got when I got home, was a pizza. And just basic meals, really. Just well-cooked, home-cooked meals are really nice. So my friends and family have been taking care of me with that since I got back.
And how was it being part of such a successful Team GB cycling team in particular? Because I think it's the stat that every single member of the team won a medal. It must have been great to be a part of that.
Yep, everybody that rode a bike got a medal. So Kira Horn and Ryan Owens, our two reserves, unfortunately, they didn't get a ride, so they didn't get a medal. But everyone that rode a bike came back with a medal, which I don't think anybody could have predicted. We all knew that we were going well in the holding camp, and that no one was getting ill. Everybody was on form. Everything was going well. No one was injured. We just had a really good streak. But you just don't know what the rest of the world are doing. And I suppose, fortunately for us, there weren't many other people who were exceeding what they've done in the past.
Was it tainted at all when other teams perhaps cast a few aspersions about Team GB's cycling success afterwards? There were a few sort of comments of innuendo from other teams. What did you as a team make of that after your success?
Well, it's not nice to hear, but it kind of made me laugh a little bit, and it made me think of, as a spectator watching London 2012, there was that famous comment that the French said that our wheels must be rounder than everybody else's or something like that. It all seems a little bit stupid, but there's no secrets. It's all just about tapering, and we save all our best equipment for the Olympics, and we don't taper like we do before any other competition like we do for the Olympics. So if we weren't going better than we usually would, we'd be questioning our methods a bit.
Absolutely, and we look at more questions coming in now. Mingim Lego asks, what is your routine?
What's my routine?
I guess they mean probably training regime perhaps your daily routine, bit of both.
It's difficult to really say what a typical day or a typical week is, because my training is so periodised, and this is what I love about track cycling, is that we race on the track, but the training is track, gym, road and turbo training. So it varies a lot. Probably maybe about 20 hours a week on average, which is a lot of, which doesn't sound like a huge amount when you compare it to gymnastics doing 35 hours of training a week. It seems like almost half the amount, doesn't it? But when you're getting the miles in and you're doing your short, intense efforts as well, it racks up, and the fatigue racks up as well.
So how does that compare on and off season? Do you get much time off in a year?
Not really, no, because I'm a track cyclist, but I also ride the road. So the off season for the road riders is the track season, pretty much. So some of them will race the track as something to do for training, the smaller races. But if you're a track cyclist, you've just got to take days here and there when you can, when there's a little bit of a break.
And do you see yourself in the future as a track or road specialist, or do you want to combine the two as much as you can?
At the moment, I think track. I love track. I don't think I've got the same kind of relationship with road that I do with track, but also I think I've got some unfinished business on the road that I like to take care of in the next few years.
Great. And we've got another question here. Congrats on the gold. Any plans to follow in Trotty's footstep and go solo? Now, I think that's a reference to Laura Trott, of course, with 4 golds. And any plans to emulate her achievements?
I don't think anybody ever sets out to be the next X person. Not in that sense, but I'd like to have a go at some individual events again. The last couple of years I've kind of put it on the back foot to really focus on the team pursuit. But I think I'll give myself a little bit of flexibility in the next couple of years to do some individual events.
Excellent. We'll see some of the other questions. We've got quite a mixture here. Leonard Fitz asks, what's your favourite biscuit? Now, usually, it's not something you'd usually get at a sports show, but this is Facebook Live and this is the forum.
It's BBC, isn't it? So I can't name brands.
Rhymes
with boxes. Can I say that?
Yeah.
The ones that have... I can't remember. I haven't had a biscuit in ages.
That's a strict routine.
Yeah.
No biscuits.
Like a custard cream sort of thing, something like that.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, thank you for that question. There's a question from Uncle Charlie. I'm sure that's not your actual Uncle Charlie. Asking if you felt safe in Rio, because there were some concerns before the Olympics, weren't there?
Yeah, I felt really safe. I didn't have any problems. I left the village quite a lot. Stayed with my parents for 3 or 4 nights towards the last week as well. And it was fine, to be honest. I think it helped that we had a friend from Brazil that showed us around a few days, but the rest of the time it's still absolutely fine, not a problem.
And remember to keep your questions coming. We've still got a good 5 minutes or so. We've got a hello from Noel Russell in Ireland. Turning our attention back to, I guess, the success on the track as well. There's some extra Welsh success as well, with Becky James winning her 2 silver medals. Considering her comeback from illness and injury and all that, that must have been great for you to see as a teammate.
Yeah, that was a very, very popular medal in our camp. Everyone's so happy for her, especially she didn't have the best run in. The last few years have been really, really tough for her. And I think a lot of people wouldn't have blamed her if she just sacked it in at points, because it was very difficult for her. And she got 2 silvers, and amazing as well that Katie Marchant got a bronze in the same event in the sprint at the end. Really nice. They're really close friends. It was lovely that they got to share the podium together.
So you've got some close friends as well as good teammates in the Welsh cycling scene.
Yeah, they were really lovely girls. We got on well in the lead up. I've not really seen anybody since, because I suppose we've all gone our separate ways and all gone on various holidays and doing different things. But yeah, we got really close in the run into it.
And let's see any other questions coming through now. Leon asks, do you feel any pressure on stepping up to the mark now that you've got this newfound success? I think Leon's referring perhaps to future games where you'll go as defending champion, for example.
Not really. I suppose I had the impression that I should have felt pressure going into this games, because as a team we were defending champions, but it wasn't my own personal title to defend, so I think I felt a little bit less pressure there. But it's difficult because people expect you to win then, but I think I've already proved myself and I've already proved what I can do. So if I do nothing else in the future, hopefully I'll keep riding a bike and keep winning races. But if I do nothing else in the future, nobody can take this away from me, and I'll still be very proud of it in 10 years if I've done nothing since.
Absolutely. And in between now and Tokyo, what else is on the horizon for you with your team cycling, for example?
Yes, I'm going to try and give a little bit more back to the road, because they give me so much flexibility in the last year, just to go and have this one goal and put all my eggs in one basket. And all of my training and racing was tailored towards this one goal, which was the Olympics. So now it'll be nice to be able to go and ride for them and race for them, train in their kit, go on the training camps, everything that I've missed out on in the last couple of years.
Okay, so we're coming down to the last 4 or 5 minutes now. How nervous do you get leading into a big event?
I said to my brother the day before that it feels like it's kind of like the feeling before you got a night out, and you're really excited and you really want to go, but part of you's thinking like, oh, I don't know, maybe I should just stay at home. I don't know if that's just me, but it felt a little bit like that. And yeah, constantly feeling like you've got to go to the toilet when you haven't, and that sort of feeling. But I think the Olympics is the least nervous I've ever been for a big race, because especially before the final, the day before was horrible, and just waiting around, it was absolute torture, and I was thinking, why do I put myself through this? But right before, I think it was the least nervous I've ever been sat in the chair to race, because I thought the worst case scenario, the absolute worst that can happen, is I'm still an Olympian and I'll get a silver medal, and all my family are here, and it's already been the best experience ever. So yeah, it can't get so bad. Obviously I wanted to win more than anything, but I thought if we don't win, it's not the end of the world. So I didn't feel too nervous. But when I was younger, I would be awful. Yeah, throwing up in my mouth. Yeah, shaking. It'd be horrible. But I think you just got to race. The more you race, the more you get used to it.
Excellent. Well, after an Olympic final, I guess nothing quite compares in terms of size and magnitude. We've got 2 minutes left now. Leon Clifton asks, what type of music gets you fired up before a big race?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know, really. I can't remember what's on my race playlist now. It seems like a long time ago. Got quite a bit of Rudimental on there, I think. And your classic things like Eminem, Lose Yourself, which I think everybody's got on their playlist. That kind of thing. I think it's more about the lyrics than the tempo of it as well sometimes. Need some motivational lyrics, I think. And
in a team pursuit, I guess you have to compromise, do you, with the other 3 riders, what you listen to before a race?
No, we've all got our own headphones. Yeah, we couldn't possibly listen to the same thing. We wouldn't have speakers in the pit because it's hard enough to hear anything anyway with all the noise going on. So yeah, we all have our own headphones and listen to our own music.
Okay, we've got time for just 1 or 2 more questions now. Brian asks, are you Brits born on bikes or something? Well done from the USA.
Thank you. USA, wow.
Just what is it? Yeah, what is the secret behind British success on the bikes?
I think we've got a very good programme in that we don't just start again after every 4 years. We've already got people, hopefully Olympic champions in the making, that we've picked up age 13, 14, 15, 16, and they all get taken through the programme. So there's an under-16 programme, and they take them away to races, and they train them, and they teach them what it's going to be like and preparing them for the Olympics. And then there's an under-18 programme, which is the same thing but at a slightly higher level. And then you get to the under-23s, and you move to Manchester, or you move to Italy, and you learn to be self-sufficient and how to race at the highest level. And then if you get into the podium programme, you get to all the biggest races, and you're already so prepared that you can perform well and not be nervous and not be underprepared at all.
Well, on that note, looking to the future, Elinor Barker, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks
and
for having me.
yeah, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for all your questions. Elinor's now going to hot step it over to the Radio Wales Sport. You can tune in on FM and DAB to that. And until next time on Facebook Live, it's goodbye from me.